You know, when we talk about climate action, we're always thinking big, right? Gigatons, global agreements, massive scale stuff. But what if the real key to saving our planet wasn't just about going huge, but about making every single gram count? Today, we're diving into a really cool idea that connects our tiny, daily choices directly to the front lines of conservation.
Okay, so picture this, the Amazon rainforest. We all know how critical it is for the planet's health, but its most vulnerable edges are under constant threat. The fight to protect it can feel so distant, like it's something reserved for governments and giant organizations. But what if that wasn't true? What if there was a way to connect our daily lives directly to that front line? What if everyone everywhere could actually join the fight?
So, how do we do that? Well, to get our heads around it, we have to start with the folks who are right there, on the ground. Let's talk about the Amazon Forest Barrier, or BFA for short.
The BFA is an organization working right at the very edge of the Amazon, which is, the most fragile part. They partner directly with indigenous communities, companies, and institutions to restore what's been lost and protect what's left, creating these certified reserves of natural value.
And if you look at their official mission, a couple of words just jump right out: innovative and inclusive. So this isn't just about planting trees, right? It's about building an entirely new model for climate action, one that's sustainable and, crucially, brings everyone to the table. This is their North Star.
Okay, so as the BFA was doing all this vital work, trying to fund their projects through the existing carbon markets, they ran into a wall, a fundamental problem, a barrier that was stopping almost everyone from getting involved. And this wasn't just some small hiccup. We're talking about a deep structural gap that was baked into the very design of the voluntary carbon market, the exact system that's supposed to fund projects just like theirs.
So here's the problem. It all comes down to scale. The traditional carbon market trades in tons. Think about it like this. It's a currency that only comes in $1,000 bills. That works just fine for huge corporations, but it totally locks out the 99% of us, small businesses, citizens, who want to contribute on a smaller scale. The system is exclusive by design.
Now, to be clear, the point isn't that the traditional market is bad, it's absolutely essential. But what the BFA saw was this enormous untapped potential. What if we could shift the whole unit of measurement, go from tons all the way down to grams? Suddenly, you could unlock a brand new, complementary market that lets everyone participate. It's a total paradigm shift, like going from a wholesale-only model to finally opening up a retail shop for climate action.
So, having identified this massive gap, the BFA didn't just write a report and call it a day. Nope, they got to work and started building a solution. They started by asking this really simple but incredibly powerful question. How can we dismantle that tons-only barrier and create a system where anyone, literally anyone, can contribute, no matter how small their action might seem?
And their entire philosophy just boils down to these four powerful words: micro actions, macro impact. It's this incredible belief that if millions of us act in small, tiny ways, we can create a massive collective wave of change.
And that's where Ecoinv comes in. This is the technological infrastructure they engineered from the ground up to bridge that structural gap. It's the system designed to take the high-integrity, large-scale world of carbon credits and make it accessible and usable in our daily lives. Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of how this thing actually works. Because for a system like this to succeed, trust is absolutely everything. And Ecoinv is built on this rock-solid foundation of transparency and integrity.
The whole system is built on what they call 3 layers of integrity. Think of it like a triple-locked guarantee. For every 1 certified ton of CO2 removed, there is only 1 digital token representing it, and that token can be broken down into 1 million verifiable grams. That structure makes it impossible to double count. Every single gram is real and accounted for.
It all kicks off at layer 0, the bedrock of trust. See, Ecoinvest isn't out there just inventing its own credits. It uses high-quality carbon credits that are already certified by global standards, like Verra or Gold Standard. These credits are then locked away, forming the verified foundation for the entire system.
All right, next up is layer 1, and this is where the blockchain comes in. For each 1-ton credit that gets locked away, the system mints 1 single corresponding digital token. Now, this isn't some speculative crypto coin. Think of it more like a digital certificate of authenticity. It's an unbreakable public receipt that proves a real-world ton of CO2 has been accounted for. No funny business.
And finally, we get to layer 2. This is where the magic really happens for you and me. The system takes each of those tokens and, like a digital atom smasher, it divides it into exactly 1 million pieces, each representing 1 gram of CO2. And those grams become available through a simple app, turning massive carbon credits into tiny, affordable micro-contributions we can make with our daily purchases.
So the technology is solid, it makes sense, but that brings up the biggest question of all. Will people actually use it? To find out, the team didn't just guess. They went out into the real world to see what kind of impact this could truly create.
So get this. The team ran a validation survey with 639 tourists in the town of Salento, Colombia. And the result? A massive 87.2% of them were willing to make a small, voluntary contribution to offset the impact of their purchases. This was huge. It confirmed there's a massive appetite for accessible climate action.
And here's where it gets even cooler. Because every transaction is traceable to a specific location, the system creates this amazing, virtuous cycle. It generates data for local governments to make smarter decisions. A portion of the funds even flows back to the community as local climate royalties, directly financing projects like plastic cleanup or protecting fragile ecosystems. The impact literally stays local.
So when you put all this together, it points toward a powerful new model for collective action. It's really an invitation for all of us to think differently about our role in the climate fight.
The system really poses this fundamental question to all of us. Instead of waiting for top-down solutions, how can we build a bottom-up movement? How can we unite millions of people making small, verifiable contributions that add up to a truly global impact?
And that brings us right back to this core idea. I mean, a single gram is almost nothing, right? But millions of people contributing a few grams with their daily coffee or their bus ticket, well, that becomes a powerful, undeniable force for change. It's the network effect, harnessed for climate action.
In the end, Ecoinv presents a tool that's not just for offsetting, but for participation. It's a vision for a global climate union where technology provides the trust and our collective actions provide the power, empowering each and every one of us to make every single gram count.